Second Cup, brought to you by the Nickel Plate. Sit, sip, savor, and shop.
Hi, everyone. Good morning to you. 8 o'clock on the start of your Thursday morning. As you can see here, we are following a little bit of traffic news for you to start Second Cup. So if you're heading out this morning, I want to give you the heads up and show you exactly what we're working with here. A couple of different crashes, a couple of different delays.
So there's one on the 90 right now. That one was the one John just had pulled up. There's also a crash on the 290 right now. Let's see, that 291 is between Maine and Sheridan. The 91, where was that one? Did you see?
Exit 53.
Exit 53. Here we go. So that's right here. The 190 interchange.
It's a little bit of a hot spot this morning. Very busy, Lori says, exactly. And I want to show you the drive times as you're heading out this morning, because this is something that we don't normally see. The 90 eastbound from the 400 to William, it's going to take you about 13 minutes to get there. A real slowdown there. Then 190 southbound to the 290 going downtown. 13-minute commute there. The 33 to the 90 in downtown Buffalo, that's, moving at or above the speed limit. That green representative of that. It is almost Friday.
It is almost Friday.
But the slowdown, the real slowdown here this morning is on the 90 eastbound, and that's going to slow you up. Yeah. That's at exit 53 to at the 190 interchange.
And the longer it takes to get those cars and everything moved off, the more it backs up everything.
Do you ever think how fascinating it is that they can track all of this because of our cell phone GPS?
Yeah, it blows my mind.
Isn't that so cool?
Well, that's one word for it. Kind of scary.
Good morning,
I also
everyone.
Get a kick out of it when, not that I'm encouraging this by any means, but when we're hey, look at the drive times, and it's 65 miles an hour in the 33. I'm wow, it's a 55 speed limit there. You guys are flying.
So funny. Happy Friday Eve. We are so glad that tomorrow is almost Friday. You are off tomorrow. I will be here, but tomorrow we're doing some pumpkin carving with the master pumpkin carver.
You are, so you're going to have to teach me your tips and tricks. He was supposed to come earlier this week, but he couldn't make it, so he's coming tomorrow now. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with.
Me neither. I have no idea. You know how hard it is to carve a pumpkin, but he's bringing the tools.
He said he'll bring the tools. We got the pumpkins. You got he's got the tools.
Okay.
And you know what I've noticed about him? He scrapes the outside of the pumpkin off and then carves the guts.
Maybe a little bit.
That's maybe not the gut, the skin or the
second layer of the dermis.
Yeah. So Eric Jones is coming tomorrow, Sarah.
That'll be fun.
He's the guy. If you watched the Bills game last weekend, and I know you all probably did, he was the guy who was carving the pumpkin there.
He's also the guy who does all those sand sculptures,
snow sculptures.
Right. He's really talented.
If there's art to do, he's doing it.
I love that.
Yeah.
He's an artiste. Speaking of the Bills game, could you imagine the Bills not being in Buffalo?
No.
Me neither. And I am very, very upset to hear about this news. The governor yesterday mentioned that there were 5 other cities that were trying to basically get the Bills away from Buffalo. And all of this tied to the construction of the new stadium.
Yeah. What would we do if our team wasn't here? We were saying it earlier this morning. The Bills are the culture here. They're part of our culture.
Now, what I don't really understand, and I didn't watch all of the governor's comments here. Obviously, we're synthesizing it down. The Bills are not just some team that's up for sale either. So were they trying to lure the Bills vis-a-vis the Pagulas out of town, or were they trying to say that if you don't build this new stadium, Buffalo, then you will not be able to have an NFL team?
Well, I think that was kind of the vibe that we may have been getting for a while, right? When we knew we had to build a new stadium and it was eventually coming down the pipeline.
Peter wondering what cities were trying to get the Bills. We don't know. The governor really didn't elaborate, but she said 5 cities were trying to get the Bills. I mean, when you think of another mid-market town that doesn't have a football team, I don't know.
Everybody wants an NFL team, you know?
The
They
Bills
bring in a lot of money.
The
They
Bills
bring in a lot of money.
Yeah. Kelly says Buffalo wouldn't be the same. Lori says the Bills belong here. That doesn't even make sense, Lauren says. You know, I struggle with this because on so many levels, there are so many things, so many flaws in this process, right? People wanted the stadium downtown. We said, no, we're going to keep it in Orchard Park. So many people are having trouble now buying season tickets because the PSLs are so high. Okay. A lot of our taxpayer dollars are going into the creation, the building of this brand new stadium. But if not for the Bills, Buffalo would be a completely different place to live.
My mom asking, is this now or before we agreed? It was before. But we just found out that the governor said there was this in contention, right, with 5 other cities potentially.
Howard says the stadium should have been built in the Batavia area. Sean says, are they trying to cause a riot among the Bills Mafia? Right. I mean, had the Bills left Buffalo, and theoretically, this is a conversation that's happened in the past, you know, in terms of new ownership. With Trump, Donald Trump wanted to buy the Bills at one point. John Bon Jovi wanted to buy the Bills at one point.
Yeah, he became like the world's most hated musician. Well, at least Buffalo's most hated musician.
Whenever he comes on the radio, I turn it off. I'm not even kidding.
He's got some bangers, but
it's my life. It's now or never.
he's the one. Didn't he sing "Wanted Dead or Alive"?
Wanted dead or alive. Maybe, but the answer is now or never, John Bon Jovi. It's never. Like, no, I refuse to listen to John Bon Jovi. Denise says a lot of Bills fans would fight for this. He did sing that song.
Yeah, I know that because that was, remember we talk about back in the day when I played the guitar for a year? That was the one song that I attempted to learn how to play.
Diamond says the economy would be way worse. Charlene says the PSLs are pricing out the fans.
Anybody here a season ticket holder who's had their meeting?
Oh, no. Kelly says, agree, Ed. If the Bills moved, imagine how many people would literally move. Well, because here's the other thing.
Like, you're still waiting for yours.
Right.
Yeah, a lot of people are.
And to be honest with you, how do I say this diplomatically?
Delicately.
Whisper
it to me and I'll tell you how.
You've got the soft skills. I'm just upfront. I love the Buffalo Bills. I love the pride that they instill in our city. I love the grit that they show and the tenacity. And I love what they mean to the city of Buffalo. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes. Is there a but coming?
100%.
Uh-huh.
The only reason I have season tickets still is to get into the new stadium. Because you know that it's like there's a list and it like goes based on seniority, it seems. So like we're holding on to these tickets for dear life to hopefully get a shot at the new stadium because it might be a good investment.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you are genuinely looking to be there, you're going to fork out the money, I think.
Well, so Sarah says they have seasons. They still didn't get their PSLs. Or know what they are.
Where do you sit, Sarah? Because I'm all the way up in the 300s. Peter, wait, Ed, be delicate and diplomatic?
Yeah, no kidding.
Just be blunt.
Connie says, I think the PSL will be high no matter where the Bills went if they got sold to another market. Right,
Well,
because we see that happening everywhere when they're building these new stadiums.
Wouldn't that be the case, though? Wouldn't it be likely higher? Because, you know, I think I would hope.
If it was somewhere else.
Yeah. Like Buffalo is a blue-collar kind of town.
Right.
The people who live here, we all know.
So you're hoping they're trying to keep them relatively reasonable.
Right.
We've all heard tale of people who've heard about theirs, right?
Oh, and they are super expensive. People who've had 4 tickets in the old stadium can now only get 1 or 2 because the PSLs are so high.
One, you know what I mean?
I don't know. I just can't imagine the Bills not being here. I mean, since the 60s, they have been a Buffalo staple. Thank God for Ralph Wilson.
Yeah.
Bringing the Bills here. And when you think of the legacy and the history of how this is a sports town with a football problem.
Yeah, it would be pretty crazy if we ever lost them.
Right.
My mom wanted to know about the stadium bonds. Did we ever learn what they're going to pay?
I did not hear anything about that.
I don't think we learned what they were going to pay. We were still waiting at the list. We checked into it.
That's a great question. That's a good follow-up, MB.
We'll
Good.
take a look, MB.
Sarah says, I hear PSL and think pumpkin spice latte every time. I know, it's true.
Thank you,
Those
Sarah.
personal seat licenses, they are some of like the most controversial Buffalo things right now.
Yeah.
Connie says, my girlfriend who had tickets since the 70s can't afford the PSL. They aren't getting seasons with the new stadium.
So I know a couple people who kind of have made that their decision and are kind of like, I have these tickets. Here's my PSL. The other thing I heard is that like they were basically just telling you what yours were and not giving you
An option.
options of like what other areas would be. Like let's say you had really good seats and then you maybe wanted to go somewhere else. Like, could I get a cheaper PSL but still get tickets? I don't know that that's available to people.
Interesting.
I don't like this is, you hear this stuff, but I don't have season tickets.
Jeanette says, I'm excited to support my Bills gear in Chester, Illinois the next few days.
Ooh.
I usually get some fun comments. Blue Collar Town, home of Popeye. I love that. And you know what the coolest thing about that is? And again, this is kind of to my point. You can wear a Bills jersey, a t-shirt, a hat anywhere in the country, and you are bound to hear a Go Bills from someone.
My God. When they were in the playoffs last year, Paul and I had to fly through the Philadelphia airport because we were on our way to Mexico. It was in January, 2 years ago. And that was something else.
But doesn't that
Eagles
make
fans are wild.
Well, but don't you feel comfortable, feel good when you get that Go Bills from somebody who you don't even know?
I didn't get it, Go Bills there.
Would they say F you?
I got the opposite. I'm like, oh. Or what's the one that they do? Fly, Eagles fly. I'm like, okay, Go Bills.
Go Bills. Martha's here with us. She says, money grab to pay millions to the players you love. Well, but like, listen to this. Here's the other thing. The governor was saying that the stadium can be paid off because New York's on the hook for like $600 million or so, almost $700 million. And the governor was saying that can be paid off in 17 years or less, thanks to, in no small part, the income tax on these Bills players.
Right. Think about how much they're getting paid. Wow.
Josh Allen, I mean, $238 million.
Think about the income tax on that. We all complain about our income. Now, listen,
well,
no one's complaining to have his salary, right?
But I'm sure, I mean, they're complaining too. I mean, New York has some high taxes. We all know that, wild. Right? We all know how much we're taxed here.
Yeah.
Sarah says, I hadn't thought of that. Good point. It blew my mind to hear that.
Yeah, it is. It is an interesting point. You ready for the election?
12
days.
Love.
Isn't it hard to believe?
Election day. Yeah, and you know what? We should also point this out. You don't have to wait until Election Day to vote.
Right.
So if you are registered to vote, and by the way, Saturday is the deadline to vote, register to vote rather, in New York State. So if you haven't registered yet, you can do so until Saturday. And early voting also starts on Saturday. So theoretically, you can register to vote and vote that same day.
Question for the Cuppies. What do you think you're going to do this year? Are you going to early vote or are you going to wait until Election Day? I'm leaning towards early voting because it's going to be a busy Election Day.
I'm early voting.
Yeah.
Either Saturday or Sunday or even Monday next week. I love voting. I love Election Day. I love the idea that this is my constitutional right.
You want a sticker?
I want a sticker. I want to fill in that bubble. Everyone's voting early, it seems.
Oh, a couple of people on Election Day.
Okay. Lauren says she just goes on Election Day.
I like Sarah's comment. I'll vote early, but I love the drama of a busy Election Day.
Me too. And I love, oh my gosh, the feeling of like, we are doing our jobs as Americans. We are putting these people in the places that we want them to be.
You know, Elizabeth, this is a good thing too. Like Election Day and I bring my daughter, like I could, it doesn't matter if you bring kids whenever, but like what a nice idea to bring kids and get them that concept.
To see the process.
Did you do a like
Absolutely.
vote when you were a little kid?
Well,
like in school or whatever, you got to go through the kind of like, I remember them bringing one of those, the old school voting booths to my school, and you thought it was the coolest thing.
Well, so I would go and vote with my parents, my mom in particular, and she would let me close the curtain. You know, you
the
pull the lever.
And that's so cool when you're a kid.
And the first time I voted in an election, I think was, gosh, it must have been 2008. because
Yeah.
I had just missed the 2004 election. So the first time I voted in an election was 2008, and I
Yeah.
was still using those old school machines with the curtain and the levers.
Right.
Now it's just like you fill in the bubble and you put it in the machine. I hate that.
2004 was the first election I voted in
Yeah,
because I'm a
that
little
makes
bit,
sense.
a tad bit older than you, a tad. And I remember I voted absentee because I was in college.
I've done that a couple of times.
And that was a very exciting moment.
Elizabeth says, I took my sons when they were younger too. They laugh as I'm glued to the TV all night. I am too. Brittany says it felt like the Wizard of Oz. Don't mind me behind the curtain.
Right.
Lauren says we did that too. I also bring my kids. I love that. Your mom, though, I don't want to even turn the TV on election day. My mom is the same way.
It's stressful.
But then, like, you watch at 9 o'clock when the polls start to close.
Oh my God. And then they just start,
Dun, 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 dun.
they start bringing in, here's another state. We've got results now.
I mean, Wolf Blitzer in the election HQ. Okay, we've got another ballot update. We've got another election update. I just love that. And
you know, and then you see, how about all the video that pours in from all over the country?
long
Where there's like
lines.
3-hour lines and people are waiting. That's why I early vote, because I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to stand there.
That will never happen here.
I
But like
know.
places like, you know, Miami
Yeah.
or Fort Lauderdale,
Uh-huh.
like those big places.
I know, but even like when I'm like, I can walk in and out. I early voted. Did I early vote last time? Maybe I did. I can't remember. Whenever early voting started, I did it. And it was just so convenient. I like popped in on a Saturday, like, here I go to Wegmans. Now I'll vote on the way home. Popped in on a Saturday. It was great. Yeah.
Sarah wondering, when do they say we'll have official results? You know, it you never know.
Right.
I mean, because when you consider what happened in 2016, I mean, the votes were so close. I don't even.
2016, we were both here.
Right. I was working overnight that night because it was Trump Clinton.
Yep.
We thought, you know, everyone thought Clinton was going
Yeah.
to win.
And I remember falling asleep on my couch because I was watching, setting my alarm there, waking up and being like, oh my God, I can't believe I have to go to work right now. And like, then like trying to like be like, what happened in the last 2 hours?
It wasn't called until 2 o'clock in the morning. And that's when Trump came out on the stage. And I mean, the reason I say, you know, everyone thought Clinton was going to win is because she was ahead at one point.
Yeah.
And then 2 a.m. they call it. And I mean, how many of us were up at that point?
Yeah.
Few. I just love it. I could go on and on. I just think it is the quintessential American right.
Jeff, we need a 30-pack on election day.
We're going to need a lot more than that. We're going to need
Edward,
a couple of cases.
We're working, so
Well, that's true.
none for you.
Listen to this poll, though. I mean, and what do you think of this? And I thought this was kind of eye-opening, but I also kind of think it's like a sad state of affairs in this country, like a sad commentary on our country. Do you think there's going to be violence after the election? A majority of Americans say yes. In fact, a lot of the people who were surveyed in this poll say that they think it's somewhat or very likely. 70% of Democrats who were surveyed say yes. Almost 60% of Republicans say yes. I mean, this is alarming.
Yeah.
Right? Kelsey, 100%. Diamond, yes. Sarah, so scary. Kelly, yes.
You hate to think like this, you know? And I really hope, well, there's so many places across the country, like, I don't know. I think about like, would something happen, you know what I mean? Like locally, like hopefully not, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like they are stepping up police presence and stuff like that. We know that already, right? There's going to be added security and stuff. But yeah, like Jason saying, hoping nothing, you know, happens. And let's see here.
But isn't it incumbent upon all of us to kind of be like, okay, like we can control what we can control, and we can control that kind of a situation. If we lose control of ourselves, then we're able to step into that violent situation. Like we can make a choice. We don't have to be violent.
Right. But well, then you have to tell that to everybody else.
Right.
Some people are just very, like we talk about this all the time. There are some mega extremes.
Yeah, some wackos out there.
Well, we just have to, I feel
on
like
both sides, right?
you have to be able to like appreciate somebody else's point of view,
Mhm.
understand that's why they have it. And like, I'm of the mindset that if it starts to get even a little bit contentious when I'm talking to somebody about something or like hearing whatever, just kind of step it back and change the topics, you know,
Mhm.
because it's not It's not worth it.
Lori says you got to watch your surroundings. Elizabeth says it's the fanatics. And Kelly says there's just so much hatred in this election. And is it because we have become so polarized, or is it?
I think so. Don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. But why can't we just appreciate what somebody else has to say or what somebody thinks? Like, why do we cut somebody out because they say one thing or another?
Well, you know what? I think that the days of like you listen to my point and then I listen to your point for some people are kind of gone. Like people don't want to listen to that other side. And if you're not going to do that, then it's not worth it. You know what I mean?
Right.
You're just wasting your breath, right?
But even people who have different views, like you can.
Yeah, you have to like be on the same page to have a good civil conversation
Yeah.
about it.
It's so bizarre, isn't it? Like
Thanksgiving is what? How many weeks did I say? 5 weeks away today?
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
Something like that.
It's going to be an interesting holiday season for a lot of families, I feel like.
Well,
When we talk about what we do and don't bring up there.
isn't that the case though? Like, what are you not talking about at the dinner table? So I'll tell you, it's so funny. My aunt, both of my aunts actually, are very, very liberal. My dad is very, very conservative. My mom, again, a house divided.
Yeah.
But it's so funny because
House divided.
Yeah, I mean, you put everyone around a table, and it is genuinely a melting pot of ideas. But it's hard for it not to get contentious.
You got to have that one person too who's the good one to change the topic.
Right.
Like if it comes
How
up at
about those
Thanksgiving.
bills?
Yes, exactly. If it comes up at Thanksgiving, you're going to talk about the Bills. You're going to talk about football. You're going to like hit that next topic that we can just ease out of the other one.
Kelsey, politics and religion, not in my house.
Right.
Your mom, the way you say something makes all the difference. That's true. My mom always says, well, she still says this to me because, I have a tendency to just say it like it is.
We haven't noticed that.
She goes, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Oh my God, I could hear her saying that to you as a kid in like so many ways.
It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Then she also said, Edward, be a listener.
She's got a cute little voice and a cute like little manner.
My mom?
Yeah.
Oh, she is just as blunt as I am. You want to talk about
She
something?
can be, but like she's so sweet. I think about when she came, like remember when they came and they were on Second Cup and she just sits there like this. She's so sweet.
She's very poised.
Yeah.
She's very classy.
She's adorable.
But she will cut you with her words.
Well, she had to take care of you as a kid.
But now you know where I get it from. So funny. October Theory. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, what was it called
This is
again?
the dumbest thing in the entire world. I cannot believe this is actually a thing. You want to talk about being blunt? This is it. This is dumb.
What was it called again?
The October Theory.
October
This is
Theory.
people who are starting their New Year's resolutions now because October apparently is the year of change.
A month of new beginnings.
And so this one woman who was interviewed in the story, I mean, like, God bless her. And really what I mean is bless her heart. She's like, I decided I was living across the country. I was living around the world, in October. I decided to move back to the States and I realized that this is an October revolution. Are you kidding me?
All right, listen, I am not a big New Year's resolution person because I just feel like if you want to do something, why do you wait?
Right.
That drives me nuts. Like I keep bringing up Thanksgiving, but like perfect example, like a lot of people get to Thanksgiving and they're like, oh, I got to start eating better. I'll do it in January. Well, that's still, you're like, 6 weeks from when you're going to start eating better. Like just start eating better a little bit and then like splurge. It's the holidays.
Right.
Like I accept a good splurge. You guys know that.
Howard says, oh my God, October Theory is so wrong. We all know it should be April. Spring is a new beginning. What? Connie says, I know, this is the dumbest thing in the entire world. I decided to move back to the United States in October, so this must be a thing.
I just feel like whenever you want to make a change, go for it. You don't have to wait for something.
Right. Jeff says, no resolutions for me. I hate being a failure. Kelly, if you're going to do it now. Like,
Yeah, that's how I feel, Kelly. Like you're like, I'm just going to fill in the blank.
seasons change.
You do have to goal set, I think.
Yeah.
And you know me and my to-do list. You
Okay.
watch me every day write them all out.
Well, Jeanette is sticking up for this one woman. Maybe she's onto something. Start the day in October, eat your heart out in November and December.
Eat your heart out, people.
So funny. Listen, we got to get the show on the road. Hope you're off to a great start on this Thursday, tomorrow, Friday.
Yes.
Have a great day.
See ya.